You look around and question why the rich keep climbing higher while you restuck fighting for leftovers. No matter how much effort you pour in, you're still tied to bills, debts, and survival mode. It feels unjust, almost cruel. But here's the truth. Most people are too afraid to say out loud. Money doesn't follow fairness. Money follows power, and power is never handed to anyone. It is taken by those willing to step outside the rules. This is exactly why you remain broke. You still believe in waiting your turn. You still believe someone will notice your hard work and reward you for it. You still think the system is built on merit. But the wealthy don't wait, and they don't hope. They design outcomes. They bend systems, people, and circumstances to serve their goals. And if you don't understand the cold Machiavellian mechanics behind that process, you will always exist as prey inside someone else's structure. What you're hearing now is not motivation. It's not encouragement. It's not another fantasy about working harder and saving more. This is dangerous knowledge. Knowledge that makes you difficult to read, difficult to control, and nearly impossible to stop once you understand it. Once this mindset locks in, you don't return to being ordinary. Most people assume wealth comes from intelligence, luck, or talent. But if that were true, brilliant minds wouldn't die. Poor and disciplined workers wouldn't drown in debt. Wealth has never been about ability. It has always been about strategy. Cold, deliberate, Machiavellian strategy. Money goes where strategy lives, not where effort screams. Money is survival. Money is status. Money is influence, and those who control it control the behavior of others. This is why money is never neutral. In the hands of the weak, it sleeps foul. In the hands of the strong, it multiplays. And strength begins when you detach from childish illusions about fairness and reward. This is where your transformation starts. You stop seeing yourself as a victim of circumstances and start becoming an observer. Because the truth is, most people are blind. They're emotional, predictable, and reactive. They don't realize how easily they're manipulated in the money game. But the moment you stop reacting and start watching, patterns begin to reveal themselves. Look at the average man. A works hard, saves little, follows the rules, and believes effort alone will save him. Yet his life feels like a cage. His energy enriches someone else while he stays trapped. Why? Because he believes in effort instead of leverage. He believes in fairness instead of manipulation. He believes appearances instead of power, and that blindness is exactly why he remains broke. The first real law you must understand is silence. Most people chase money by talking, proving themselves, explaining, and begging. Their desperation leaks out of every word, but silence creates pressure. Silence forces others to expose themselves. In negotiations, in opportunities, in power dynamics, the one who stays quiet controls the frame. People hate silence. They rush to fill it with information, concessions, and mistakes. The wealthy understand this. Instinctively, silence turns you from prey into predator. But silence alone isn't enough, because even if you stay quiet, predictable reactions still make you controllable. That's why the next shift is becoming unreadable. Most people broadcast fear, greed, and insecurity without realizing it. Their emotions betray them instantly, and predators read these signals faster than most people can think. When you remove emotional tells, when you master stillness, you stop being a piece on someone else's board. You become the one moving pieces. A man who cannot be read cannot be predicted. A man who cannot be predicted cannot be controlled. That is what makes him dangerous. Such a man doesn't chase trends. He doesn't fall for pressure. He saves when others spend, strikes when others hesitate, and retreats when others rush forward. This is how empires are built, not by following the crowd, but by standing above it, observing, waiting, and striking with precision. Every time you act on impulse, you bleed power. Every emotional reaction feeds someone else's advantage. Money is always moving. If it's leaving your hands carelessly, it's strengthening someone else. That's why patience is a predator's weapon. Average people rush. They chase hype. They panic. The wealthy wait. They move slowly, deliberately, like hunters in tall grass. They buy when others panic. They hold when others sell. They expand when others retreat. Their patience allows them to capture opportunities invisible to impulsive minds. But patience requires discipline, and discipline is what most people reject in favor of comfort. This is why most people never escape. They are too emotional, too reactive, too desperate for ease. But if you embrace silence, unreadability, and patience, you stop being ordinary. You stop being broke. You start becoming untouchable. And this is only the beginning. Money is not something that exists in a neutral state. In weak hands, it disappears as fast as it arrives. In strong hands, it multiplies quietly. That is, because money is a tool. And like any tool, it only works for those who know how to use it without emotion. This is where the separation begins. You stop seeing yourself as unlucky and start seeing yourself as uninformed. You stop reacting and start observing, because observation is the first real step toward control. Most people never observe. They live emotionally. They are predictable, reactive, and easy to read. They don't notice how often they are being guided, nudged, and manipulated in the money game. But once your eyes open, you start seeing patterns everywhere. You see who benefits when fear spreads. You see who profits when people rush. You see how wealth quietly changes hands, while the masses stay distracted. Look at the average person. It works hard, saves little, follows the rules, and trusts the system. Yet his life feels narrow and confined. His energy enriches someone else, while he remains stuck. This happens because he believes in effort rather than leverage. He believes in fairness rather than control. He believes appearances rather than power. That blindness is the real reason he stays broke. The first principle is silence. Most people try to get ahead by talking too much, explaining themselves, proving their worth, and revealing their desperation. Silence does the opposite. Silence creates pressure. Silence forces the other side to speak, to reveal, to expose weaknesses. In negotiations and opportunities, the one who can stay silent controls the frame. Humans are uncomfortable with silence, and in that discomfort, they give away information. Silence transforms you from prey into predator. But silence alone is not enough if your reactions remain predictable. That is why unreadability matters. Most people broadcast their emotions openly. Fear, greed, insecurity, and excitement leak through their words and expressions. Those signals are instantly detected by anyone who understands power dynamics. The wealthy read reactions faster than others think. When you remove emotional signals, you become difficult to predict. And when you cannot be predicted, you cannot be controlled. A man who cannot be controlled becomes dangerous. He does not chase trends. He does not react to pressure. He moves when others hesitate and waits when others rush. This distance from the crowd is what allows empires to form quietly. Every emotional reaction costs you power. Every impulsive decision transfers money to someone more disciplined than you. Money is always in motion. If it leaves your hands without strategy, it strengthens someone else. This is why patience is essential. Average people rush, chase, hype, and gamble on urgency. The wealthy wait. They move slowly and deliberately. Wealth is not earned the way you were taught. It is taken through positioning, patience, and control. It is never loud, never obvious. It moves silently, strategically, almost invisibly. That is the path you are stepping onto. The world no longer looks the same. You see people rushing, spending, reacting, begging for attention. And instead of joining them, you observe, you wait. You move only when advantage is already secured. This is what it means to become unreadable, untouchable, and dangerous. You are no longer chasing money. You are placing yourself where money is forced to come to you. And once you experience this shift, there is no return. You are no longer part of the herd. This is the deeper transformation. This is where the ordinary end and something colder, sharper, and more strategic begins. At this stage, the shift is already happening inside you. You can feel it. The world no longer looks the same. You see people talking endlessly, chasing validation, reacting emotionally, and spending without thinking. Where others see normal behavior, you now see weakness. You see how attention is harvested, how fear is sold, how people are drained without realizing it. You've stepped outside the herd, and there is no comfort in that awareness. But understanding principles is not enough. Silence, unreadability, patience, leverage, and narrative are only foundations. Real power comes when you sharpen them into daily weapons. Wealth is not a fair contest. It is war. And in war, hesitation is fatal. Those who pause out of fear are erased by those who move with certainty. This is why the poor cling to jobs while the rich build structures. The weak substitute labor for power. They believe that working harder will save them. But hard work alone is a weak currency. The powerful substitute differently. They trade ideas for labor, influence for action, perception for reality. One man sweats for a wage. Another organizes 10 men to sweat and earns 10 times more without lifting a finger. The difference is not effort. It is substitution. The wealthy never rely solely on their own strength. They use the energy of others. They position themselves so work flows upward. If you always exchange time for money, you will remain trapped. But when you exchange perception for value and ideas for labor, money begins to move toward you without resistance. People do not buy what something is. They buy what they believe it represents. This is the law of illusion. A rock becomes a diamond. Fabric becomes luxury. Paper becomes power. Illusion creates demand, and demand creates wealth. Those who reject illusion because they believe it is dishonest surrender the game to those who understand appearance as a currency. Exploitation is another truth most people fear, but exploitation simply means identifying unused value and extracting it. Fear, inefficiency, distraction, and chaos all contain value. When markets crash, the average person panics and loses. The disciplined predator buys. When attention is wasted, the predator captures it and converts it into income. If you refuse to exploit opportunity, opportunity will exploit you. This is why withholding matters. The weak reveal everything. They overshare plans, emotions, and intentions. In doing so, they give away leverage. The powerful reveal only what serves them. They create mystery. They control access. Withholding creates gravity, and gravity pulls people, attention, and money inward. Silence bends people. Unreadability protects you. Patience turns desperation into timing. Leverage converts others into resources. Narrative shapes belief. Substitution frees you from labor. Illusion multiplies value. Exploitation captures opportunity. Withholding secures position. These are not concepts. They are weapons. And when these weapons become part of your identity, you stop being a participant in the money game. You become the game itself. You move quietly. You observe more than you speak. You act only when outcomes are already decided. While others chase comfort, you choose discipline. While others react, you calculate. This is the final evolution. Unreadable, untouchable, unstoppable. You don't announce success. You don't seek approval. You build in silence until power becomes undeniable. By the time others notice, you are already beyond reach. Most people will never walk this path. They will remain emotional, predictable, and obedient to systems they don't understand. But you've been shown the mechanics. The illusion has cracked. The choice is now yours. You can walk away and return to old patterns, or you can treat this as initiation. Apply the laws daily. Stop reacting. Start positioning. Stop working for money. Start bending money to work for you. If you're ready to go deeper, to sharpen this mindset further, to move beyond surface understanding into real control, then this is where the path continues. Not as entertainment, not as motivation, but as transformation. The question is simple now. Do you remain prey, or do you become predator?